Welcome back to Lariat TV News. This week we preview the upcoming election and show you ways you can get involved. I'm Marissa Moniz.
And I'm Gracie Savage. First, we have breaking news about a building on campus.
Early this morning, staff members were alerted that the Moody Library basement flooded and elevators are not running. Baylor spokesperson Lori Fogelman said facilities have been on site along with Target Restoration this morning to pump water out of a sub-basement in Moody. This will allow them to determine a cause and make repairs. The elevators in Jones Library provide access to the second floor of Moody. Students with disabilities can visit the library information desk on the first floor for more assistance. The rest of Moody Library is operating as usual.
The Waco transportation system doesn't want anything to stand in the way of you voting, especially not a ride. Claire Goodyear shows you how they are getting people to the polls.
Election day is approaching, and the Waco transit system wants to make sure that locals have a chance to get one of these on November 5th, so they're taking action to make that a possibility.
Okay, so it's the presidential election. It comes around every 4 years. We think it's a pretty big deal, and a lot of what we do here is to support the community. So if we can help someone get to the poll and not make transportation a reason why they don't vote, that's why we do it.
The transit system is working to assist however many Wacoans that need it, no matter how big or how small the turnout is on Election Day.
We can get 1, 2, 3, 4, no matter what the number of people that would normally not vote because of transportation out it and give them an opportunity to vote, then we consider this a success.
Many locals use public transportation, and Waco Transit hopes that this will get people out to vote.
I think the riding public appreciate the fact that we do things like this throughout the year. We had over about 800,000 riders last year with all the different services that we provide. So I think we do have a pretty good impact, or a good size impact on whether or not people can get around town. On November the 5th, once again, I think those that would like to vote and not have the ability to get there because of transportation, we fill that void.
And they work hard to get the word out to the community.
We do the local news, we do the social media, we do the flyers. We have our primary riders that basically ride with us all the time, and it's easy to reach them through the triangle boards down at the terminal and flyers on the bus, and most of it's passed by word of mouth once they get on the buses.
The Waco transportation system doesn't want anything to stand in your way on November 5th.
Don't let transportation be an excuse for you not to vote. We're riding from 5:15 to 7:15 on November the 5th. Come out and get a free ride from Waco Transit.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Claire Goodyear.
Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th, and here are a few reminders to keep in mind before voting. Each voter is required to present valid identification at the polling location. This includes your Texas driver's license, election certificate, personal ID or handgun license, your U.S. military ID card with a photo, a U.S. citizenship certificate with a photo or a U.S. passport will also work. On Election Day, you must bring a form of government ID included in the list you just saw. Any clothing that endorses a political candidate or party is not allowed within 100 feet of the polling. Phones are not allowed at the polls, and as long as you are in line at the poll before 7 p.m., you will be able to cast your vote, and the mail-in ballots must be postmarked and returned by 7 p.m. on November 5th. Baylor students registered in McLennan County can vote in person at the Mark and Paula Hurd Welcome Center and at other locations around Waco. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
The AC Hotel in downtown Waco wants the Baylor community to know that there is a place for everyone in their new ballroom. A group of 7 students in an advertising campaigns class are partnering with the AC Hotel to create an opportunity for student organizations to receive funding. The result of this idea is the AC Hotel Grant. Organizations can apply to win this grant, and there will be additional prizes for groups coming in 2nd and 3rd place. They said they wanted to provide this opportunity to spread the word about their new space and that it's here for the Baylor community to use. Luke Dibble, a student who is working on this collaboration, talked to us about what criteria they're looking for when picking out winners.
A well-formed idea of what the prizes are going to be used for. We want that to be detailed for us.
The application will be sent out to all student organization leaders around campus so they can apply to win this grant.
After 10 years creating what we now know as Baylor's Department of Public Safety, Mark Childers is retiring. LTVN's Lauren Holcomb sat down to see what this decade of serving Baylor has meant to him.
Mark Childers, Associate Vice President of Public Safety, announced his retirement from Baylor this October. Childers spent the decade uniting emergency services on campus and transforming security into the Department of Public Safety we have today.
You never reach a point where you can say, I've arrived, I can sit back and drink my coffee and go play golf. This is a 24/7, 365-day-a-week job.
Before coming to Baylor, he was set to run the U.S. Embassy office in the Netherlands, but a friend set him up to interview for the new position at Baylor 6 weeks before leaving, and he's been leading change here ever since.
10 years at Baylor has been an unbelievable experience. It's helped me grow spiritually, professionally, personally. Standing up a new division, leading that division through the sexual assault scandal over the last 10 years, and coming out on the other side being a gold standard for higher education, safety, security, and law enforcement. I think if I would have stayed in this service, I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Childers led the safety department through international accreditation, implementation of emergency call boxes and 2,000 cameras, and even hosting security training seminars for all Big 12 security programs. Of all his accomplishments, though, he says it's the relationships and the community trust he treasures the most.
And our job, we are tasked with protecting that human spirit so that all that come to Baylor University can be the best version of whomever it is they want to be.
Now, in addition to these emergency posts that you can find all over campus, Childers has strengthened relationships with law enforcement offices all across Waco, and it's safe to say Baylor security would not be the same without him. Now, come New Year's, he will be officially retiring, and the university will start a national search for his replacement. For Lariat TV News, I'm Lauren Holcomb.
Next, student government preps for the Bluebonnet Battle.
And everything you might have missed from homecoming weekend.
I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this.
You may have noticed Beat the Frogs gear around campus before Saturday's rivalry game against TCU. LTVN's Gracie Savage shows you who was behind it.
All I gotta say is beat the Frogs and sick and bears, baby.
Student government wanted to encourage and bring home student engagement for the Bluebonnet Battle on Saturday. They've hosted multiple tabling events throughout the week to bring students together to back the Bears.
One of the many goodies that student government is passing out this week is this here Beat the Frogs t-shirt. Along with pins, buttons, stickers, and posters, they've had tables all over campus the past few days, encouraging student engagement, fan engagement, and just pumping up the atmosphere for this week's rivalry.
Really just embody the student body to have fun with the week. It's one of the bigger games of the year.
Students have been flocking to the tables to be the first ones to get these limited edition goodies, and they have been running out of supplies fast.
I think all the events that student government and Baylor are putting on are really giving something for people to get passionate about.
Something special about this game is that it marks the 120th anniversary of the TCU versus Baylor rivalry game. They said that the TCU versus Baylor rivalry is the longest standing rivalry in the state of Texas, beating UT and A&M by 1 year.
I think everybody loves a rivalry. Everybody loves to get excited about something, especially when it's a long-standing battle like TCU versus Baylor.
This is the first year student government has hosted these rivalry events, but they said they plan on keeping these events in the future.
Really hoping that student government can continue to kind of hold on to this and grow it with Baylor as unity for the student body and for the past, present, and future here at Baylor.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Gracie Savage.
Just a few weeks ago, we gave you insight into Zeta Tau Alpha's Big Man on Campus contestants. On Wednesday, the male pageant was held and 2 were given their titles. Along with hosting the pageant, Zeta brought awareness to breast cancer by sharing survivors' stories. Contestants competed for the Big Man title through interviews and by showcasing their talents. Beta Theta Pi's Victor Cruz raised the most money, naming him Mr. Think Pink. And Alpha Kappa Psi's Adam Salin was named Mr. Big Man on Campus.
I feel amazing. I mean, it was such a blessing to work with all these guys, such a blessing to work with the Zeta organization. Honestly, kind of speechless for words, but more than ever, super excited to be stoked to representing Alpha Kappa Psi, the business fraternity, all these guys out here in support. So So couldn't be more proud.
Each homecoming, Baylor names its own homecoming king and queen. This year, BRH Choir seized the crown with both of their candidates taking the title. Here's an inside look on Baylor's royalty. Unlike other colleges, Baylor crowns their own homecoming king and queen each year, and both happen to be members of Baylor's BRH Choir.
My biggest hope was to get a prince, and so then I got king, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And I'm waiting. I was like, who's it gonna be? And it was Anna Kate, so it was one of my closest friends. So that was my reaction. I was like, this is, and that's why you see me, like, when she came down, it wasn't like, oh, congrats, like I gave her a big hug. Like, it was like totally different than the, oh, congratulations. Like, I just gave her a big hug immediately, so.
Langley Sarovich is a senior from Vail, Colorado, studying finance, economics with a minor in biochem on the pre-med track. Anna Kate Elkins is a third-generation Bear and a senior from Dallas studying public relations, business, and corporate communications.
It was just like a dream. I was like, someone pinch me because this is the craziest thing ever, so.
It's pretty cool.
It was really cool.
Sarovich says this was a great opportunity to represent BRH and honor BRH alumni.
There were so many alumni who came up to us at Singspiration or at other points throughout the homecoming weekend. We're like, I was in BRH, I was president of BRH, I did this, and so it really is, and I think BRH members in general, they love homecoming and they come home. Like, Baylor is their home, and Baylor's their home because of BRH.
For Elkins, she says this was a great way to honor the Lord, her grandmother, and her parents, but also rewarding as she's never had a real homecoming till Baylor.
My freshman year self that I had gotten Baylor Ho-Co Queen, I'd be like, that's insane. I was homeschooled, so I actually never even had the opportunity to attend a homecoming.
After Baylor, Sarovich will take a gap year and tour with his band in Europe, and Elkins will attend Dallas Baptist University for her master's. For Lariat TV News, I'm Marissa Moniz.
Baylor's homecoming parade is the biggest and oldest of all the colleges in the country. Tons of student organizations, teams, and groups from all around Waco walked from downtown to Fountain Mall to show their Baylor spirit. Viewers lined the streets, and alumni have the chance to celebrate their alma mater all together once again.
I grew up coming to Baylor homecoming, and this has been a big part of my life since I was about 7 years old, and so it's cool just to come back and remember those childhood memories, but also like being a student here, it's really special to me.
Homecoming might have been last week, but there's one family who keeps this tradition alive every day. Irma Peña has the details.
During his freshman year at Baylor in 1969, Mike Worley and his now wife Pamela Worley attended their first homecoming, and 55 years later, they haven't missed a single one.
We have loved Baylor from the time we went there, and it's just been a great part of our life. Homecoming is a great tradition. It's a great tradition to meet friends, but also, as you've seen today, lots and lots of our family.
Even living 500 miles away, they always found a way to celebrate homecoming.
I grew up in New Mexico, and even in New Mexico, we always knew that Baylor was the place to be.
Mike's father was the first one to attend Baylor, and the Baylor legacy in the Worley family has continued through generations.
It was kind of a no-brainer when it came time for me to find a college that if I could figure out a way, I would make it here.
Even those who didn't graduate from Baylor have learned to love the homecoming tradition.
And kind of the crazy thing is Baylor's just very endearing, because there are even some of us that didn't graduate from Baylor that still love being a part of, the atmosphere that's created around homecoming.
They have a piece of advice to share with current Baylor students.
The Baylor students love it now. You're going to look back and you're going to think, what a great time in my life.
And I would tell kids who are here, embrace it. It's such a blessing to get to be here, and there are so many fun opportunities to take advantage of.
Like the Worley family, there are many families that see Baylor as their second home. For Lariat TV News, I'm Irma Peña.
In sports, football readies for a blackout battle with TCU.
And one Bear is clawing his way up Baylor's all-time defensive ranks. Keep it here.
With some extra motivation by his side, Baylor linebacker Matt Jones had a career game against Oklahoma State. Aiden Pham has the story.
Six-year linebacker Matt Jones was named Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week after recording 12 total tackles and a career-high 10 solo tackles in Baylor's 38-28 win over Oklahoma State.
I'm blessed, man. You know, all glory to God. You know, I couldn't have done this without him. He's gotten me here. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff, and I've just kept my faith on him and prayed.
Motivated by his late grandfather, Saturday's performance was Jones' 5th double-digit tackle game this year, the most by a Bear in a single season since Clay Johnson in 2018.
My grandpa, he never got to make it to a game, and then this past May he passed away, and I brought his ashes with me to this game because I know he always wanted to make a game, so he brought his ashes with me. So, you know, just one of those things, you know, the spirit, God, my pawpaw, you know, everyone is just, it's a big blessing. It's an honor. I couldn't be more blessed.
Jones's 3 tackle for losses Saturday makes him tied in 7th place for Baylor's all-time tackle for loss leaders with 34, matching him with legendary linebacker Mike Singletary. The standout linebacker also leads the Big 12 with 72 total tackles.
He's just been a different dude. And I think, again, you know, the play that he's making, and when during the walkthroughs and stuff, I stand behind them when we're going through the walkthroughs, and he is on it. He's at a whole other level. So there's been guys that have coached before for me that have been at that level, and that's where Matt's at right now. So that's cool to see.
Jones and the Bears will next face TCU at home on Saturday. The Bears will be chasing a 3rd straight conference win. For Lariat TV News, I'm Aiden Pham.
In the 2nd annual Bluebonnet Battle, football is still going to keep morale high with the win over TCU on Saturday. Both the Horned Frogs and the Bears are coming off homecoming wins, with TCU beating Texas Tech and Baylor beating Oklahoma State. This game also marks a homecoming of sorts for Kendall Briles, TCU's offensive coordinator who spent 9 years on Baylor staff under his dad, Art Briles. Dave Aranda and the Bears are searching for their first win against TCU since 2019 and their first at home since 2014.
The only thing I can say that's changed is really our mindset for the most part. Coach Hall's been preaching to us, like being disciplined, taking the little things that we need to take serious, like the little details, us staying on our tracks, and we really been harping on it during the week.
In addition to being the blackout game, Baylor will also be honoring the 2013 and 14 Big 12 championship teams. Sophomore running back Dawson Pendergrass had a standout game in Baylor's 38-28 win over Oklahoma State. Pendergrass had 6 carries and rushed for 142 yards, a career high, and had a 55-yard touchdown. The running back also tore off a 48-yard rush from the Bears' 1-yard line, setting up a touchdown later in that drive. Pendergrass helped lead the Bears to 343 yards on the ground, which is their first 300-yard game since Kansas in 2021.
Our line, we knew what was up. Like, we were talking to each other, like, this game is like on us right here. We can put them away right here. Our coaches were all fired up, and we just went out there. My O-line executed great.
Volleyball is deep in conference play and added to the win column Wednesday night. Claire Marie Scott breaks down the match versus Iowa State.
Number 17 Volleyball continued their hot streak Wednesday night with a win over Iowa State. The Bears won the first 2 sets, outscoring their opponents 25-23 and 25-18. Set 3, though, went to the Cyclones, motivating Baylor even more going into the 4th set.
I know that we wanted to sweep them, and that was a challenge that we made at the beginning of the set. So I think we were more angry than anxious or anything like that, and I think it kind of showed there. I think we finally stopped them in some things that we were trying to, and that kind of leads the momentum onto our side as well. So I think that it's not fun to play angry, but I think we needed to there.
Throughout the match, both sides struggled with serving errors, which Coach McGuire is aiming to get back under control.
To me, serving is just a focus thing. That to their credit, they're passing pretty good, and we're thankful for all their missed serves. But then we kind of started doing it back.
In set 4, the Bears came back, and Jackie Barrett Frazier was able to achieve the team's first triple-double since 2009. She had 16 digs, 10 kills, and 23 assists.
And we talked about kind of spreading the offense, getting our middles to the pins or to the right side pin, and that was going to open up the dump for me. Or put the middles close to me and have them jump with the middle, jump with me, and get one-on-one for them as well. So it was kind of part of a whole big plan. But yeah, they weren't stopping it at first, so it was really fun to be able to be that offensive threat.
Victoria Davis also hit a new career goal tonight, hitting 7 kills, while also managing the ball on the defensive side.
Honestly, my team is so encouraging, and they're the ones who give me the confidence, and the Lord gives me the confidence in order to like go out and just play to my best abilities. So I'm glad that's the result, but it's really thanks to like everyone on my team, honestly.
Baylor will be back in action in the Farrell on Friday to take on Colorado. For Lariat TV News, I'm Claire Marie Scott.
Baseball continued their fall workouts, and redshirt senior infielder Hunter Simmons is looking forward to getting back on the diamond after missing most of last year with an injury. Simmons transferred to Baylor from Howard College prior to the 2023 season, and that year he started in 42 games for the Bears and led the team with 17 RBIs in Big 12 play. In 2024, however, he only played in 5 games before suffering a lower leg injury in a home game against Indiana. Simmons spent most of his collegiate career in the outfield, but is making the transition to first base this season.
There's still like guys that are wanting to be there supporting you even when like you're sitting there by yourself. It's like you're just sitting in your own thoughts, like what I could have done not to run to the wall, or should I pulled up, or like, you know, you're sitting there like negatively talking about yourself. You're like, I should have done this, this, and this, but like they're still here showing you like positive reinforcements, like, hey, like you're good, like we still got this, like it's not the end of the world, you know.
Baseball's first game was on February 14th. That'll do it for sports, and we'll be right here back next week with more on your favorite teams. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Braden. That's all for this week's newscast. Be sure to follow Lariat TV News on YouTube for more stories throughout the week.
We hope you have a great week, Baylor family, and we'll see you again next week with a special election newscast. Until then, have a great week, and as always, stick 'em Bears.